How's everyone doing? Welcome back to another episode of The Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. Today, I wanted to talk to everybody about marketing personalization. What can banks do to more personalize the marketing experience to better serve their customers out there? So I saw a great article from Independent Banker magazine that I wanted to bring in and go over with everyone today. So this is called Marketing Personalization is More Than Adding Names to Emails. The advent of data-focused, personalized marketing has opened up doors to deeper customer relationships for community banks. So, at its finest, a personalized marketing campaign is one so calibrated to an individual customer that the customer walks away feeling like their community bank really knows them. As Elise Rickman, AVP and Director of Professional Services at the banking CRM platform provider 360 View puts it, personalized marketing is not a blanket campaign, but a campaign catering to a particular customer and making that individual feel special. The goal may sound straightforward enough, but the question of how to make such a warm, fuzzy, and relevant impression a reality is not so simple. And the difficulty is compounded by the very nature of community banking. Customers go to the smaller community banks because they want more personalized service, says Rickman. They don't want what the larger banks are doing. For Mark Hanna, president and CEO of the Bank of Glen Burnie in Glen Burnie, Maryland, finding a way to personalize digital communications is a growing imperative at the 365 million asset community banks branch as the 365 million asset community banks branch traffic declines. We're using our website and emails, as well as some new and different media, to stay in front of our clients, he says. Face-to-face banking is not dead, but it's taking on a different meaning. Hannah notes that the bank's website is becoming the thing that drives a majority of its personal conversations. After we pique people's initial interest, they do more fact-finding, he says, and that leads to a phone call or a meeting to discuss how we can support their financial needs. According to Juliet D'Ambrosio, Chief Experience Officer at Atlanta-based branding consultant Adrenaline, community banks are now investing in their own data and technology to clean up and merge customer data, as well as consolidating duplications from email and other customer lists into a workable data set. So then we get into it's all about data. So Bravera Bank in Dickinson, North Dakota is a case in point as it expanded beyond its traditional geographic footprint into Minnesota and Montana. As part of its growth strategy, the $3.2 billion asset community bank is investing in data and technology so it can compete with larger financial institutions, says Chief Marketing Officer Kelsey Dahl. When it comes to identifying what types of data matter most for a successful marketing campaign, approaches differ. Some banks rely on demographics, placing a premium on knowing what life stage a customer is in, explains Rickman. Demographic data might include whether a customer has children, owns a home, has a business, or is saving for a particular goal like retirement. Others place the emphasis squarely on financial data, such as the types of accounts owned and balances carried. Increasingly, banks are also relying on predictive analytics, which may be driven by AI. To use this matrix of customer data, as Rickman calls it, to identify the most appropriate products for a given customer, you could create campaigns or journeys specific to a customer's needs based on all that information, she says. One of the enormous advantages enjoyed by financial institutions is the abundance of relevant data within their grasp. Banks could know far more about spending patterns than, say, retailers or hospitality companies, notes Crystal Steinbach, Director of Digital Marketing for Des Moines, Iowa-based firm Mills Marketing. Half the battle is getting the data, she says, and when we can get the data, we're going to use it for personalization purposes. There's kind of a sidebar here which says basically reaching a younger audience. So notice how I store my money under my dorm mattress, asks a voice against the backdrop of catchy music. Not mindful, not classy, not safe. Through this and other YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, and TikTok videos, Bavera Bank in Dickinson, North Dakota has created a personalized marketing campaign aimed at a younger demographic. The fun, informal vibe is underscored by photos from Bavera's branch on the University of Mary campus in Bismarck, North Dakota. With younger people, we find success with some of the trendier social media platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or Instagram, says Kelsey Dahl, the Community Bank's chief marketing officer. We're finding that younger people want to do business with a company that has similar values to theirs, she observes. Products and services are still important, but they almost become secondary. In the YouTube short that opens with dollar bills strewn atop a dorm box spring, Bavera assumes an advisory role, one of several lessons imparted by the voiceover. Opening an account at Bavera's on-campus branch not only keeps cash safe, it's convenient too. We're giving younger people a glimpse into Bavera, says Dahl, and we're here to give you helpful tips, and we're not necessarily trying to sell you anything. So that is a very interesting approach that they're using there by using TikTok, by using Instagram Reels, by using the YouTube Shorts. I like it. I do like this. Now we're kind of continuing on with the article here where it says a hyper-personalized approach. So over the past decade or so, marketing has evolved at warp speed. So back in the day, it was the batch and blast. You had all these customers and you sent everyone the exact same thing, said Steinbach. Pretty quickly, you saw massive numbers of unsubscribes and low engagement from there. Marketing progressed to incorporating first names and other easily acquired personal information into emails and other communications. The next leap forward is hyper-personalization. Hyper-personalization is using data to speak to you about only the things that matter to you, says Steinbach. With hyper-personalization, we send far fewer emails, but instead of a 20% open rate, we see 40%, 50%, 60% open rates. We see higher engagement, more clicks, and better closing rates. When Steinbach designs a hyper-personalized marketing campaign for a community bank, she starts with a wish list of more than 100 data fields to be populated with information residing within a bank's core. Relevant data ranges from whether a customer has set up online banking to whether that customer receives e-statements. Other crucial information includes when that customer's last account was opened and whether they have used Venmo in the past 90 days. Thanks to the granularity of the information being gathered, the goal is that no customer will be sent an off-the-mark email introduction. For example, online banking if that customer is already a user. Rickman reiterates that what matters most is offering the right product at the right time. We live in a fast-paced world, she says. The whole key to hyper-personalization is that whatever's put in front of a customer needs to hit home then and there. So then we have a kind of another sidebar here, which is called, should gamification be part of your personalization mix? So sometimes personalization means putting the reins in the individual customer's hands. One way of boosting savings rates is by making a game out of growing a bank account, one in which customers are rewarded with small cash bonuses or other incentives for achieving specific financial goals. Mike Palazzulo, assistant professor of marketing at the University of California Davis Graduate School of Management, describes this technique known as gamification as the use of game-like elements in a non-game context, or taking the features of a game and using these features for something other than just a game. In a paper published last year, Palazzolo studied what happened when a bank app that incentivized users with raffle tickets, in-app currency, and other rewards removed all gamification for 50 days. What he found was that bank app logins decreased by 20%. While gamification is not synonymous with personalization, there are ways that the two strategies do complement each other, says Palazzolo. Gamification produces the same sorts of engagement and stickiness that personalization fosters, he says, so it may serve as a substitute at an era when some of that personalization that happens face-to-face is not happening quite so often anymore. So one little thing I would say about gamification, Robinhood, the trading app, they spectacularly put to use gamification in their app. And and while they've basically gotten away with it, they took a lot of heat for it at first, because using gamification, if you study what social media apps do with the scrolling, with the likes, with everything, there is so much psychology that goes into it. It is designed to become very addictive. If it's designed to stimulate the dopamines, get you. That's why they say you need that hit of dopamine, and it's from the scrolling and the liking and you just look and look and look and you can't stop looking. And so, yeah, I mean, I like the gamification thing, but I also find it somewhat concerning. So, but anyway, let's continue on here. So there is another little side thing here that says basically 90% of millennials prefer direct mail over email when receiving promotional messages. So that's interesting. I mean, 90% is a pretty significant number. So, and then it goes into avenues for personalization. So community banks market through multiple channels, but here are 4 in which personalization is proving a game changer. Number 1 is direct mail. So among Adrenaline's community banking clients, direct mail is the channel of choice for personalized marketing, says D'Ambrosio. Even though it may seem like a retro channel, direct mail has high engagement rates, she says. When people get an offer in the mail, they'll hold on to it longer and they'll recall and remember it in more detail. They're also more likely to engage and act. Mills Steinbach contends that direct mail, which is more expensive than email, never really died. Some banks, she notes, are surprised to learn that a message printed on paper and delivered by postal carrier makes an impression on even younger people. In fact, a recent survey from Hydrate Marketing found that 90% of millennials, those 28 to 43 years of age, prefer to direct mail over email when receiving promotional items. I'm going to call BS on that. We'll get back to that in a second here because I want to finish this. So number 2, email. The Bank of Glen Burnie recently began using email marketing as an additional marketing tactic, a strategy that Janet Kim, Director of Marketing and Public Relations, describes as risky, given the multitudes of people frustrated by their clogged inboxes. Kim believes the key to customers' receptiveness, her bank's open rate for email is above 50%, lies in the content of marketing messages. We don't want our customers to feel spammed, she says. We try to make sure there's value in the messages we send. Yes, absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. 50% open rate, though, is that's pretty astounding. Number 3 is websites. So community banks have recently begun getting into the act of hyper-personalizing their websites, says Mills Steinbach. For example, banks can alter their marketing presence by choosing 1 of 5 or 10 different homepages and online banking experiences, depending on who visits or who signs in. Posting an ad or banner with the most attractive savings account rates for customers most likely to engage in those products or who are lacking such accounts is also website hyper-personalization in action. Beyond displaying customer offers, savvy community banks are making sure that the website images selected resonate with the audience they're targeting. Paul Tonelli, VP and Creative Director at Manchester, New Hampshire-based firm Panos Marketing, points out that for one Midwestern community banking client with branches primarily in agricultural communities, presenting the right style and imagery is key to being relevant and building lasting relationships. So what's more, for some banks, a kind of DIY personalization can boost a website's appeal. Take the Bank of Glen Burnie, which has 50 financial calculators in its online education center, ranging from mortgage payoff tools to a cool million calculator designed to show when your current savings plans will make you a millionaire. Our goal is to make sure we're anticipating our customers' financial needs, says Kim. And then finally, number 4, branches and call centers. Personalized marketing campaigns need not be executed solely via remote channels. Highly targeted marketing intelligence can be furnished to bank employees who then directly present customers with only those product suggestions that are a strong fit for their unique needs. Rickman of 360 View notes that it's particularly powerful when a banker sends a customer a handwritten thank you note or reaches out on an anniversary of doing business together. Showing you care about a relationship and the accounts a customer is in is what separates community banks from larger banks, she says. Kim agrees. To us, personalization is primarily people, she says. Our staff, we're building up our digital technologies and putting all that information in tutorials and calculators for customers to use. By Mark, Hannah, president and CEO, is still often the first one to pick up the phone and directly call a customer with a concern. So then it says walking a fine line. So Personalized marketing is increasingly what customers have come to expect. Even so, bankers need to proceed with care, advises D'Ambrosio. Just because banks can take a look at your Amazon data to deliver more personalized offers to you, should they? And that's a great question. She asks, how much is too much? When do you cross the line? For her, the question boils down to one of consent. Customers of community banks are happy to have their data used to give them more personalized offers, but they want to be asked, she says. They want to opt in to that type of relationship and not just be targeted willy-nilly. Kim raises a similar point, warning against the risks of relying on and overusing digital tools so that marketing efforts tilt toward what she terms impersonalization. She suggests that there is a real need to balance the automated personalization experience with true, we know our customer moments. Our customers are our friends and neighbors, and so community banking is the essence of hyper-personalization, says Kim. Even though we want to give our customers a full digital experience, we don't want them stuck in an automated loop, trying to get hold of a human. Connecting with the customer in a truly personalized way is essential. And then it talks about safeguarding customers' privacy, and that basically is the end, and it wraps up. So I really, really liked this article. I really liked this idea, this concept of personalized marketing. I think that a lot of banks out there, particularly a lot of community banks, could really put this to work. I want to go back to the direct mailing thing for just a second. I am not a fan of direct marketing. I gave up on direct marketing years ago. I don't believe it anymore. I don't think it doesn't work. I think it is deader than a doornail. You say you're running a campaign for $25,000, right? I guarantee you, I could run a digital marketing campaign and hit 10 times as many customers as I could with the same $25,000 direct marketing campaign. That direct marketing campaign, you're going to get probably less than a 1% hit rate on that thing, because people are going to look at it. They're going to look at that flyer and they're going to toss it right in the trash. They're 99% of people are not even going to look at it. Whereas if you did some kind of a digital marketing campaign, again, personalization, you could personalize it and you could send it to them. I think what you have to be cautious of is what they warn at the end of the article. They're basically saying, don't overwhelm the customer. Don't freak them out by hitting them with too much at one time. But I love some of these ideas here. Use the branches. If you have a call, if you're big enough, you have like a call center, use the call center. Use that to your advantage. Leverage that. Websites, absolutely. I think the website is probably the most important thing that a bank can use. It's the singular best weapon you have. Use SEO. Put tools there for customers to use, different kinds of calculators, personal finance type tools. Put different things on there for customers to use. Put different videos on there. They talked about how they used Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Create those videos, put those up on your website, put links to them on your website, take them to your YouTube channel. Use SEO, drive that traffic to your website, and then have you could have different formats, different types of flash, different types of screens for different people who are logging in and doing different things. So I think the websites is critical. Email is another one. You have to use it, but it's getting harder with a lot of the fraud and the scams and things that are out there, and people setting, security settings and spam blockers, all this kind of stuff. Email is getting trickier and trickier. It's not, I don't think it's as easy as it was, 5 or 10 years ago. So, but anyway, I will wrap that up by saying, like I said, I thought this was really good. I thought this was really interesting article. I love this idea of, marketing personalization. And I hope that people will think about these things. If you're sitting on the marketing board for your bank, or if you work on a marketing committee, or, if you just, like I said, if you're the head of marketing at your bank, or you're involved in marketing, hopefully you think about these things. And even if you don't work at a bank, even if you're just out there, just whatever your company is, these are all things any company can put these things to work for them. So again, I hope people found this interesting. And I will wrap up by saying if you like this episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, as that really helps the channel. Remember, we are on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast platforms. Please be sure to leave your comments down below, as I love getting back to everybody. And as always, make sure to check out some of the other content on the channel. So have an awesome day out there, and I will see everyone again real soon. Thanks a lot.